What's up, guys? Welcome to another home theater hangout, late night edition. So let's see who's up in the chat tonight. We got Lieutenant Dan up in here. What's up, Lieutenant Dan? I saw it last night in 3D IMAX and loved it. Yes, we're going to talk about Tron ARES. I'm sure some of you guys have picked up Tron and Tron Legacy on 4K Blu-ray recently. Some of my biggest 4K reviews, well, at least Tron Legacy was definitely one of my biggest 4K reviews of the year so far, for good reason. I don't know why people didn't like that movie as much when it came out, but I think it's aged rather well throughout the years, and it still stands, I think, as one of the best audio demos of all time. And it's not even in Dolby Atmos. At least the DTS 7.1 mix has been kind of a mainstay in a lot of our demo rotations for home theater. So Excelsior's here, going tomorrow in IMAX Sydney, Australia. Tickets cost 70 AU, recliner seat at the back middle. You know, we just got a brand new remodeled IMAX here locally. It wasn't even open for Superman. It wasn't open for none of the big movies, Rebirth. However, luckily enough, it was open for this. But they got a new screen in there, which is exactly the same size as it was before. So they didn't get a bigger screen, which isn't a true IMAX. However, they did get dual lasers, as far as I'm aware. Dual lasers, I guess it's a 4K. It's not 2K like it was last time. I have not noticed any pixels this time around, so that's a plus. Sound system, I believe they definitely got a new sound system, because the bass did not bottom out once while I was watching ARES tonight, so that's always a plus as well. And the way that they jacked up the audio, I didn't get any of that uncomfortable IMAX over the top. Just jack it up to 25 and just let your ears bleed. So whatever speakers they got in there sounded really good. Don Juan, I saw this yesterday in theater in IMAX in 3D. Badass. Theodoro. So I watched in Melbourne IMAX 3D. Visually, it was stunning. Audio was good, but not the best mix I've heard in a mix. And the movie itself, for myself, and I thought it was good to okay. Saw this back in the day. Saw this back to back in IMAX 3D with Tron Legacy, and while Legacy still takes the cake, ARES was honestly better than expected. A badass 2-hour 9-inch nails music video with fight scenes and light cycles. I would have to agree with that. If you have a recently upgraded IMAX, it's likely one of the two different single laser systems, either a commercial laser or XT laser. They haven't been making dual laser systems for a while, sadly. I don't know. I read that it was dual lasers somewhere on one of the Reddit threads. They could be wrong, but they have like a local Reddit thread here. Somebody said it was dual. I probably should have turned around and looked. But let me see what we got here. Let me see. So I actually snapped some video. I know it's illegal to do so, but yes, I did. I snapped some video. I don't know if it's going to play. Oh, it doesn't look like it's going to play, does it? No, it doesn't look like it's going to work. Oh, it's a shame. Yeah, I took some video clips of some of the cool parts in the movie. That's okay, whatever. Man, it sucks. I can't believe it's not playing. All right, well, anyways, I just got back. Well, actually, did anybody watch season 2 finale of Peacemaker? Because it just dropped. I actually just wrapped up watching that one. I'm not going to say too much about it, but I don't want to spoil anything. But I was really let down from the finale. I was expecting a huge James Gunn demo, because he said there was going to be a huge cameo. So I was expecting to see like Superman show up, or Harley Quinn, or maybe Batman or something like that. But no, didn't get anything huge like that. I don't want to say who it was or who I think it was, but didn't get a huge cameo as was teased. And I don't know why he teased that there might not be a season 3 when clearly it's going to go somewhere. Maybe not a season 3, but it's definitely going somewhere. It's either going to lead into Superman 2 or it's going to lead into Lanterns, but we're at like halfway through the episode, and I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, man, this is moving really slow to be having some kind of grand finale. And then we got 45 minutes into it. I'm like, I don't know how James Gunn is going to wrap this up on a bang, but I'm feeling like it's not going to end up on a bang. So I don't know. You guys leave your thoughts down below. Let me know how you felt about that season finale. I was just kind of let down because the last 2 episodes were they were knockouts. This one just kind of left on a whimper. I was really bummed about that. Shane, you've gone black. Are you sure? It looks like I'm back here. Looks like it's black. Anyways, aside from me being let down by Peacemaker season 2 finale, I went and saw Tron ARES back to back. I went to Dolby 3D first, and then I went to the Imax 3D second. And I had to ask the guy. I was like, hey man, I said, how long has Dolby 3D been available here? Because I've been going here for the past 2 years, and I've never once seen Dolby 3D being available. And he said, well, we've always had it. We've just haven't had the opportunity to show it with any movies to come through the theater. I'm thinking to myself, did we not have Avatar? Did we not have Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts? I had to watch those movies in the smaller real 3D theater where the bulb was half as bright as what I get here in my house. So I finally got to check out Dolby 3D. First time I've seen it. And you get those, I guess, what are they, polarized glasses where it's like, it's got the mirror finish for both eyes. And it's one of those, I guess it's one of those 3Ds. It's like when it's not showing 3D and it's just a black screen, the left eye goes black on you. So it's like, it throws off your whole equilibrium. So that always kind of caught me off guard. Sometimes there'd be like a black scene or a dark scene transition or something, and the one eye would go dark, and always kind of threw me off. And their 3D glasses, they're small. It's got the small little mirrors, but then it does have the covers that cover the side of your eyes so that you don't get any light leakage. But just the lenses themselves are really small. And for the IMAX glasses, these ones are big. I've been to, I think the Lincoln Square one. They have the small ones with the mirror finish as well. But this is the Dolby Cinema. I'm sorry, the IMAX version. These actually go over my entire glasses, so I really like this. And the new IMAX, since they remodeled it, they now have brand new, it's a brand new laser. It's a brand new projector. So the laser's brand new. It's fresh. And the IMAX looked just as good as my projector looks here at the house. I'm going to say it's probably a little bit brighter. My typical 3D projector, I've been rocking out with the BenQ W5800 and it is a little bit dimmer, and the resolution on my BenQ wasn't quite as good as what I experienced at the IMAX tonight. However, and with this new laser, again, I haven't noticed any pixels or anything like that, like I did on the previous IMAX projector they had in here before the remodel. That's always a plus too, because that always bothered me. I always had to go back towards the back row to mitigate seeing any screen door effect, which is, you don't want to see that when you're paying. Actually, I'm an A-list member, but if you're paying $18 to go see an IMAX movie, you don't want to see pixels. Anyways, my first thought of 3D in the Dolby Cinema was, yes, it was as bright as what I get in my house. Resolution was as good as Dolby Cinema looks, of course. Minimal darkening of the glasses, not quite as bright as IMAX, but still pretty decent. And movie wise, it's a simple plot, very simple. First off, this has nothing. It really has almost nothing to do with the first two movies. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but this is a Tron movie. Like, where is Tron in this movie? Let's just put it that way. The whole premise of the movie is they want to take whatever's in the grid and bring it into the real world. Kind of like what we got at the end of Legacy, where Korra gets transported into the real world. But they're doing the same here, but they're doing it for military reasons. They're not trying to bring the grid into the world to help humanity or anything like that. They want to bring Dillinger's grandson, I believe it's his grandson, is now running the company. So he wants to bring his soldiers, aka ARES, Jared Leto, God of War, into the real world, and he wants to sell it to the military. So, the soldiers, they don't get tired or anything like that. They can just fight. And if they die on the battlefield, they can just remake them because they're from the grid. But the caveat here is he can send people from the grid into the real world, but they only last for 29 minutes. So the whole idea is them trying to find this special code, the permanence code, which allows everything from the grid to come into the world to be permanent. Because as of now, they only last 29 minutes and then they disintegrate into nothing. Well, they turn to like electronic ash, kind of like in the movie Pixels, where they blow up and they just turn into little pixels. The cool thing about this scene is, like, when they bring the stuff into the real world, they have these giant proton 3D printers. So, when you print something in 3D, it's got like the mini scaffolding, and you break it apart, and underneath it, you have your printed thing that you want. That's pretty cool that they kind of brought that idea into this movie when they're bringing stuff from the grid over. But anyways, that's the whole movie. That's the entire movie. I thought character development was really weak. They had nobody from the original movies in this movie. So it's like we've got all brand new characters, all really good actors too. I mean, Evan Peters, we've got, what's her name, Gemma Chan, Jared Leto. Some people love him, some people hate him. I thought he was actually pretty good in this movie. The woman from Gillian Anderson is in this, really small part. Jeff Bridges, really small part. I mean, all really good actors, but really no character development. Like nobody, at least I didn't care for any of these characters. We get a little backstory with the female character Gemma, but I didn't have any emotional attachment to her or anybody really. And it is kind of like a Terminator-esque story where he's, ARES is brought into the real world. He's like a digital Pinocchio. So we get a little bit of that little kind of just some dry humor where he's dropping some jokes, but like in the Terminator would drop some jokes, but he'd keep a straight face. Get a couple moments like that. But yeah, the story was definitely kind of weak and really just didn't really tie into any of the previous movies, except for a little part towards the end. And then there is a little stinger, a little post-credit scene that does kind of, supposedly, if it gets a sequel, it's supposed to lead back to Legacy. So I'll say that. Other than that, story was okay. I would say I'm not the biggest fan of the original Tron movie. I mean, it's of its time. It was kind of groundbreaking for technology back then, but I don't think it holds up. I don't think too many people are going to say that the original Tron holds up CG-wise or digital-wise. I'm going to say, for me personally, Tron Legacy. I'm going to go Tron Legacy number 1. I would say Tron ARES. Tron ARES number 2. Unpopular opinion, I know. And then I would say Tron number 3 for me. Even though I'm like the original Tron, definitely better story-wise, but listen, I'm a visual guy. I like to enjoy what I'm looking at. And that original Tron just doesn't hold up that much for me. So I'm going to go Tron 2, Tron 3, Tron 1. You guys leave your thoughts down below. How would you rate these if you've seen the movie? Anyway, so okay, story's kind of weak, but visually in 3D, Dolby, maybe the best. While I was watching it, I was just thinking, this is the most impressive 3D I've seen since maybe Pacific Rim. because it opens up with the whole Disney fanfare with the lights, and they kind of shoot out in lasers like in the second movie, except the castle is no longer blue, it's red. Everything in the grid is just like, it's so good. I mean, there's some good pop out moments, there's some really good depth. First time seeing it in Dolby 3D, I didn't see any ghosting, no ghosting whatsoever, crystal clear. I don't know if it was 4K 3D, but it looked like it was 4K 3D. It was very good. I mean, it's probably 2K 3D. The colors, the neons, the whole world. This grid is now, it's red. It's not blue. I wish I could show some clips here, but I can't. And the only thing that that was missing when I switched over to IMAX was everything in the grid was in 1.90 aspect ratio. In Dolby, of course, it's only 2.39. So when I went over to the IMAX, the grid, I mean, with the marginally larger size IMAX screen at my theater, it was definitely more immersive. I mean, there is that moment where in the movie where he's going to break into the NCOM computer system. ARES and his two henchmen are going to break into the NCOM computer to steal the code. That looked great. Like the aerial shot over the entire building as it's kind of zooming in on the little soldiers going up into the building was that takes on kind of like a, like some of the aerial fights that you see in Avatar 2 where they're flying and you get that nice height effect. Same thing here in the IMAX version, which is missing from the Dolby version. I mean, you still have the constant image width, although the height gets expanded. So, and this happens every time that it happens, that scenes take place in the grid. So you do get that expansion. Again, this movie was shot for IMAX, not shot in IMAX. So every time you go to the expanded aspect ratio in IMAX, the resolution does stay the same. So you don't get that resolution bump where something that might have been shot in 35 millimeter for 239 switched over to like the IMAX film stock where you get that almost quadruple resolution. So you don't get any of that in this movie. You just get the expanded aspect ratio. And of course, everything in the grid is all digital, so it's all CG. It's all manipulated and created in the 3D environment. So I know there's always those guys that are like, oh, well, the movie was framed for 239 to fit the majority of cinema screens out there. So it really doesn't matter if you get the IMAX stuff. I know you know who you are. You know who you are if you're in this chat. But the fact that they're rendering the grid in the 1.90 aspect ratio means they're going into this for you to see it in IMAX. So whether or not we're going to get it when it comes home, yet to be seen. However, with the way the Marvel movies have been recently, all 239 for whatever reason. But the 3D in Dolby, it was good. However, the IMAX 3D definitely wins out because of those expanded IMAX aspect ratio shots. The bigger screen, the taller screen, there's really good depth in this movie. Not only that one flyover shot I was mentioning earlier, but there are the light, well, there's not a light cycle chase like in the second one. There's a light speedboat chase, I guess you can say, where they do the same shot in part 2 where they drop down through the glass and then they kind of, he opens up, instead of turning into a plane, it turns into a jet ski or something. I guess it's a jet ski. And they have this chase and he's being chased by some digital something. I don't know what they are. They're flying squares that are chasing Jared Leto and the main Gemma Chan on his jet ski. And it's just bonkers. The 3D is so good in this. The depth is great. The neon red is just pops off the screen. It is the most visually best looking 3D, maybe even 2D. I didn't see it in 2D, but visually best looking movie I've seen in quite some time. And just the 3D just looked amazing in 3D. I don't know if they're going to release this on Blu-ray 3D, but fingers crossed that they do. Most likely going to be import from Japan, but definitely will be worth it. I mean, that scene was great. The recognizer that we've all seen in the trailer, that plays out much better in IMAX because you get the expanded height and it just feels like it's taller, it's bigger. It's kind of just looming over the entire audience. Whereas in the Dolby version, yeah, it's stretched out. It's going to look like how it does probably on your TV. So it doesn't quite have the same impact as it did as the IMAX version did. So I mean, just visually wise, when I was sitting there, I watched it twice, and I was just like, man, this is definitely the most visually impressive looking movie I have seen in quite some time. I mean, it was shot digitally. I'm sure it was shot digitally. It does kind of have that clean digital look from what I could tell. Of course, the 3D glasses give you a little tint to it, but it didn't look like there was any film grain that I could discern from what I was watching. Part of me kind of likes the visual look of the second movie a little bit better. But just the added clarity and the depth from this movie, I think kind of trumps it. Because I feel like Legacy had a more of a filmic look to it. This one looked more like it was shot digitally, if that makes sense. Almost like, hard to tell. You know, I feel like there might have been a little bit of grain in Legacy that they scrubbed away for the 4K remaster. And this one just had that digital clean look. ARES had that digitally clean look, which for the real world stuff, I just felt kind of didn't have the cinematic feel to it, if that makes sense to you, some of you guys. Although the grid stuff, again, looked amazing, better than part 2. Now, again, with the glasses wise, I feel like these glasses definitely looked better for just the brightness aspect of it all. I guess it really depends on what your Dolby Cinema and IMAX uses, but for me, these glasses definitely worked out better because you do get the much larger lenses and it's less filtered. These aren't as dark as what the Dolby glasses were. I mean, I don't know why you would watch this movie in 2D because clearly it was meant to be seen in 3D. So I would highly recommend you see this in 3D because there's just so many shots that are just meant for 3D. The whole grid is meant to be seen in 3D. The real world stuff was all right. I mean, it was like, I would say medium levels of 3D in the medium to low levels of 3D depth in the real world stuff. Whereas the grid stuff was definitely 10 out of 10 for the grid stuff. Now, the bad thing is that a lot of the movie does take place in the real world. I was hoping that we would get more stuff happening in the grid when people get sucked back into the grid. I was hoping that would play out a little more, but the grid stuff really happens, I think, in like the ARES headquarters or whatever. That there's like one room where the stuff takes place in the grid, and then there's that big chase that takes place in the grid. I think there's maybe a couple flyovers or something like that. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot that took place in the grid, unless I was just not paying attention that much. But I feel like the grid definitely was a small portion of the movie. The light cycle scene that we saw in the trailers, that was pretty kick-ass as well, where they're driving through the city. I don't know if it's Los Angeles or what, but that looked great. I mean, that was in the real world. That was one of the good real world 3D shots. And then, of course, the ending stuff looked amazing in 3D. So, I mean, if just for a visual standpoint, 10 out of 10. If you can't get to an IMAX, if you can't get to a Dolby, either one you go, I'm going to say, from my experience, fresh out of the theater, 10 for visuals, 100%. Story-wise, maybe like a 5. Now, audio-wise, they must have gotten some new speakers in my Dolby because the seat that I usually sit in, I usually sit in the handicap seats. Because it's like handicap seats are kind of like front, maybe like a quarter of the way back, and you get the 2 seats. There's a 2-seat empty space for the wheelchairs to come in. There's another 2 seats, and there's another empty space for wheelchairs. So I sit in those seats, which are directly in the center of the theater. And there is this platform that's right next to the seat, which looks like a trap door. Every time I've been there for the past 2 years, every time something heavy, something action-wise would happen where the bass would always hit, that trap door would always vibrate, almost like they had a blown actuator. I know there's supposed to be actuators in these seats. I don't know if it's under the floor or what, but every time I would go there, that floor would just vibrate and become very annoying. Tonight I went there. I didn't hear any of that. Also, there is always a left blown speaker. The speaker has now apparently been fixed because now it doesn't rattle. It doesn't sound like it's frying. And the amount of I have never felt as much bass as I've felt in this movie, in a theater, and maybe since the worm scene in Dune. But imagine that worm scene in Dune, all that tremendous mid bass, just all that mid bass chest vibrating effect on your body. That is what it felt like for almost a good portion of this movie. That's the kind of bass that was in this. Take the light cycle bass, just amp that up by like, I don't know, 2 or 3. That's what this Nine Inch Nails soundtrack was like at my local Dolby. The most impressive Dolby mix I've heard probably ever at the Dolby Cinema. Unfortunately, when you start watching the movie, if you're into Tron, if you're not into Tron, you might not get sucked into it. But if you are impressed with the Tron Legacy soundtrack, I feel like this is just maybe on the same level as that. However, I feel like Tron has a theme song. It's like the Tron theme song when you go into the part 1, it's definitely got this bass melody to it that Tron Legacy has, at least. I don't know if I missed it in Tron ARES, but I feel like that theme didn't carry over to ARES. I mean, there are some familiar notes from Legacy that's in this, and they kind of expand on that with the techno and all that. But I felt like there wasn't a real. I feel like that grid music wasn't in this. If it was, I totally missed it. But I didn't think it was, though. Anyways, the bass was tremendous in Dolby Cinema. The effects, there were definitely some good surround moments in this. I can't say that I don't know if I heard too much overhead. I think there was some stuff at the beginning of the movie that was overhead that was missing in the IMAX version. So I will say there was some stuff that I felt that was happening overhead, but it was like so loud. I felt like the bass kind of overtook a lot of the effects. So I'm gonna reserve judgment on the kind of discrete placement when we get the stuff at home. I mean, I think we're gonna see it again on Sunday because my wife wants to see it. So I'm probably keep an ear out for more of the nuances. But I think, going over from Dolby over to the IMAX, I would say if IMAX is a 10, I'm going to give Dolby a 9 for bass response. Because where I felt everything, where just the music would just absolutely just punish. It was like punishing sometimes. The IMAX definitely ramped it up. And yeah, there was 100%. There's definitely some activity in the Dolby version, because when I went into IMAX, I distinctly was paying attention to everything that was happening overhead, because I don't think they put overhead speakers in this new IMAX cinema here. By the time I got in there, AMC is supposed to start the movie 30 minutes from the advertised time. So I bought my tickets while I was in Dolby, because I figured if the movie sucked, I wasn't going to go into the IMAX, but I got towards the end at like 6:55. I was like, okay, this is good enough where I can see it twice. So I booked my tickets because the IMAX version was supposed to start at 7. Typically, it starts exactly at 30 minutes after. At least the past 6 or 7 movies I've been to, exactly 30 minutes from the advertised time. I get in there at like 7:25, and they're already 15 minutes into the movie. So I don't know what happened. AMC just kind of they like to mess around sometimes. So I don't know if they just showed 5 minutes of trailers, but I missed a good 15 minutes in the IMAX version. Anyways, bass, definitely a notch above Dolby, 100%. I mean, I know these are fresh speakers. These are fresh subwoofers. And as impressive as the Dolby bass was, IMAX notched it up. And typically with IMAX, they crank the audio so loud, at least in the older theater that we had before the remodel. they would blast it so loud where it would just become very hard on your ears. Like there was a lot of lot of treble that would just be really kind of painful because it would just jack it up, and the bass would be kind of sloppy as well. So with these new speakers, it leveled up 100%. I mean, this is just as clean sounding as what I get in my house. So I was really, really impressed with the bass response of how clean, how sharp, and how nice and direct the effects were coming out of the surround speakers. Nothing over top, but there was clearly side surround activity happening in the IMAX version. Again, I didn't hear anything flying over top. I didn't hear any of the light planes, any of that stuff happening above. However, there's some good extension in the Dolby version. So as far as like spatial quality wise, the Dolby definitely had a more immersive feel for my theater, and a lot of just the lower bed activity was really loud, but still very pulsating bass wise in the IMAX. So you might get sucked into just being really impressed with the bass response. You just think that makes an audio mix better just because the bass hits so good. Despite the IMAX version having the better bass response, I would still give the win to the Dolby Cinema. But as an overall experience, if you're going to go see it, I personally think the visuals did work better for IMAX, and the audio a good notch below Dolby. However, the bass response was better for IMAX. So I mean, if you have a choice to go, IMAX for sure. I would pick IMAX. You got to go with the IMAX version. If it's 3D, got to go 3D, man. Don't go 2D. You must see this in 3D. It's just too good. Unless you have a lazy eye and you can't see 3D, or you're missing an eye, okay, go see 2D. But if you have both eyes and you can see and you have good depth perception, go with the 3D version. But leave your thoughts down below. Did you guys see it in 3D? Did you see it in IMAX? Did you see it in Dolby? Which version did you prefer? Leave your thoughts and your comment down below. All right, let's see who we got here. What's up, Callan in the house? Love is Blind. New season dropped, new episodes. So I was on that. Love is Blind. What, dude? What is Love is Blind? You know what I did see? I started watching on Amazon Prime that Mark Wahlberg movie. Play something, Play Date or something like that. I started watching that. I gotta finish watching that. Dude, am I still black? Am I still on screen? My local Dolby Cinema doesn't offer 3D. Man, that's a bummer. How do you enjoy 3D with glasses on? 3D with glasses is fine. I mean, just as long as the glasses are big enough. It's just they're plastic, so they're super light. So they just kind of just float on my face. So I can't even tell they're there. And actually this actually looks really good. Like I can't even tell I have them on. It's got a slight tint to it. I'm hoping the 3D blows me away. Yeah, the 3D was good. 3D was good. I'm sure you'll be blown away. I don't know why you wouldn't be. Most of the movie was filmed in Vancouver, BC, just north of my hometown. Yes. Oh, that's cool. Marco, I just saw the movie. Great sound and visuals. The script was terrible. The lead actress was terrible. Terrible. Yeah. Definitely the lead actress was, well, she didn't really have much to do. What can I say? I mean, the movie was just all right. I wouldn't say it was terrible. It was all right. It was serviceable. I really wish they would have had the folks from the previous movie in it, but I don't know why they didn't do that. I just got home from the theater, thought this is a good movie. I'm a massive fan of the first and did like the reference of the first film and enjoyed Jeff Bridges' role. Nothing beats Greta Lee's role. Oh, look at that. Jeffrey enjoyed the role, yet Marco did not enjoy her role. I thought she was fine. I didn't think she was terrible or nothing like that. She was just there to move the plot along. I felt nothing really special. Yeah, none of the characters were really too memorable. I mean, Ares was memorable, and maybe Athena. Athena was all right. It was a pretty predictable movie. What's up, Goji57? The recognizer is everything. Yeah, dude. It was a cool scene towards the end of the movie. The stuff that you saw in the trailers definitely played out really well in 3D. Like, you must see it in 3D just for that. Is there any frame breaks in Dolby 3D? Was there any? Well, not that I could tell, 'cause the 3D that I saw it, I'm sorry, the screen that I saw it in Dolby, there's no letterbox. They didn't have it letterboxed, so it was just a straight up 239 screen. So if there was a frame break, it would have shot off the screens, and I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything shoot off onto the black area of the screen. Welcome back, Shane. Thank you, Spidey Web Blizzard. I've always been here. Where have I been? I didn't go anywhere. Oh, you guys are talking about the black screen. My bad. Feels like a bedtime story. No video. Dude, am I still off screen? Sam Poston, semi-bummed that there was no Tron in Tron ARES. Hey, man, I didn't want to spoil it for anybody, but you just did. Yeah, man, there's no Tron in Tron ARES. What were they thinking? How are you going to write a Tron movie and not even put Tron in your movie? I was like so stupid. I'm waiting the whole time. I was like, we're gonna get to Jeff Bridges at the end of the movie. Tron is gonna be there. They're gonna de-age him. They're gonna make him look young. But no, we get old Jeff Bridges. Like, what? Why is Jeff Bridges even aging in the grid? How does that even work? I mean, from the logic that we get from Tron ARES, you get digitized into the grid. Once you get digitized, are you aging? Like, does that make sense? I would have at least de-aged them. Oh, there also is a de-aged Jeff Bridges at the start of the movie. He's in a TV. I'm not gonna say it looks as bad as Tron Legacy, but I feel like they didn't improve too much from de-aging Jeff Bridges from part 2 over to part 3. I feel like they tried to de-age him with CGI rather than using just a straight up deep fake that everybody on YouTube does. Why would you not just deep fake him? Because it clearly looked like it just wasn't a good de-aging. Didn't realize we could keep the 3D glasses from the theater. Can those be used at home? Yeah. The IMAX 3D, they used to take the old ones because they didn't have the foldable arms, but now they come in the little plastic bags, and there's a recycle bin outside the theater that you can throw them in if you want to. I just kept them because I was gonna do this. However, you cannot keep the Dolby ones because those have the mirror finishes on them. No, they cannot be used at home. I don't know if it was this one, but the real 3D glasses. When I used to have a LG OLED 3D and a Sony 3D TV, these used to work on those TV sets. If you had a powered 3D TV, then you couldn't use these, but on the passive 3D sets, you could. I mean, I don't know if these particular ones could, but I know the real 3D glasses you could. I saw it in IMAX 3D in Memphis, and the volume was punishing at times. They forgot to turn the IMAX logo lights flanking the screen for the first 15 minutes. Everyone clapped when they finally went off. Oh, you know what? They never, for whatever reason in my IMAX here, even before they remodeled it, they never turn off the overhead lights. They keep the lights on the entire time. The only thing they'll dim the lights, but they never completely go off. So, I mean, this is a fresh laser, so it was pretty bright. I didn't feel like it washed out the image, but it's never truly ever dark at the IMAX where I live. The Dolby cinema, they turn off the lights completely, except for they have these blue lights on the floor in the Dolby cinema that they keep on, but nothing overhead. They shut those off in the Dolby, but they keep them on. They keep them on for the IMAX, which sucks. If I'm going to watch it just for the score and sound effects, should I go Dolby or stick to IMAX? I guess if you're just gonna go for the score, I'd probably go to Dolby. If you want the overall experience, I would go for IMAX. Oh, by the way, I think if Disney doesn't screw this up, this should be on everyone's demo list by the end of the year. Because I'm sure this movie is going to come out on digital in another 45 days. Because from the sounds of all the reviews, it's probably going to come out pretty soon. I mean, I like the movie, but I know a lot of people didn't. I think it's what is it, like 50 something percent in Rotten Tomatoes. I enjoyed it, but whereas everybody always uses the Ready Player One race scene. I think the water light cycle scene in this movie, I think that's going to overtake the Ready Player One scene, because you have just tremendous, way more bass than Ready Player One. You have the little robot things that are following Jared Leto on his water ski. Those are just like kind of just zipping through the air, lower channels. You get the light beam trailing as it kind of just like echoes through the lower surrounds. And again, the bass is just crazy. It was just so crazy. I usually don't get amped up when I leave the theaters because the audio is so good, but this is the first time I actually was like, wow, I got to talk about it because the audio was fucking just good. So I think this is going to be on everybody's demo rotation come the next month or two. Hopefully they keep the 3D, the IMAX shots, and I really hope they keep that we get a 3D version. Even if you have to import, I really hope they release a 3D disc, because it's like it was meant to be seen in 3D. It's like Avatar movies, like you have to see it in 3D. Caught Avatar 2 re-release in Dolby 3D a few days ago. Audio and video were just fantastic. I went to go see Avatar Way of Water yesterday at the Dolby. Wait, did I see Dolby or did I see it? No, I saw it in IMAX. I caught the first, I want to say like hour and a half. And yeah, it looked just as good as I remembered when I saw it the first couple times around and when I saw it at the house. The bass was nowhere near as good as it was in Tron ARES. So I didn't stick around I just stayed for like half the movie, then I left because I just wanted to see what the new IMAX theater was like, the new remodel was going to be like. And I left halfway because it was essentially exactly the same as what I got at my house. So I left halfway through. Still good, just left halfway through. I also think, there's some parts, if you pay attention, if you're a 3D guy, if you pay attention to ARES, there are some parts where the conversion looked a little bit wonky. So, I mean, if you're not immersed into the movie, you might pick out a couple of moments where the 3D does look a little wavy. Like stuff in the background just didn't look really flat and kind of like wavy looking. Just some stuff where it should be in was kind of out. Some stuff that was out was kind of in. So, not a perfect conversion. Not the best conversion I've seen. I really wish that between Tron and Avatar, there's renewed interest in 3D at home. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the case. I mean, if you have a projector, that's the only real way you can watch it nowadays, right? DLP projectors, or if you have a GVC projector. Oh, it is in high frame rate in Dolby 3D. You know what? You know what? When I watched it, I also noticed high frame rate. And I don't know if I noticed it the first time that I saw it, but some parts were in high frame rate, other parts were in 24p, and then it would kind of alternate between the two. I believe, didn't he talk about some kind of high frame rate technology where he could speed up and slow down the frame rate depending on what he wanted to show? Because as I was watching it, I did notice, like, when you turn on the motion interpolation on your TV, I caught some artifacting in the high frame rate version, which is kind of strange. What else here? Anything else? Anything else? Nothing else. Anyways, I am going to be working on a review for Weapons. Have you guys seen Weapons at all? The audio. I know we've been getting a lot of really lackluster Atmos mixes lately, and I did not think Weapons was going to sound really any good because when I saw it at Dolby, I thought Weapons was all right sounding, nothing spectacular. It was just kind of just a normal horror drama type of movie, drama comedy movie, and I was like, eh. The movie was kind of like mid. I felt the movie was mid, and I thought the audio mix was mid. I watched it at home a couple of days ago. I saw it on digital as well. I want to say a month ago, and the audio was really the audio is really good in Weapons. The bass, really good bass. I mean, excellent bass. Maybe the best sounding mix I've heard, maybe since Sinners. Because Rebirth sucked. Superman was all right. Fantastic Four was all right. F1 sucked. And Sinners, Weapons. I'm going to say those are the two best so far I've heard this year. So be on the lookout for that review. And yes, F1, I don't know what the hell happened. I rewatched F1 again because my wife wanted to see it last Sunday. And I gave her the money seat. I sat off on the wing seat on the end. And I bumped up my subwoofer like a lot of you guys out there that think Superman has wonderful bass or Fantastic Four has wonderful bass. You fools out there clearly have your subwoofers jacked up because none of those movies really sound good. They just don't have really great bass. I read my comments. I read what you guys are like. Shane, something is wrong with your system. Your calibration is off. Your calibration is off. Mine is not off. Yours is off. You guys are such bass heads out there that you just turn your bass up. You might probably have a giant curve on your lower end, and you think that's normal, but it's not. Not every movie has a lot of bass. So all you little bitches that complain that, oh, these movies have great bass, oh, blah, 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 Shane, your shit is wrong. Yours is wrong. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Sinners has great bass in it, and so does Weapons has great bass in it. Two of the best that I've heard this year. And again, F1, I had to jack my subwoofer up 10, 12 dB on Sunday, and you know what? There still wasn't enough bass. So whatever they did to neuter that movie is a travesty. It's a travesty. And just the surround effects as well for a race car movie. Like, what did they do, man? They screwed it up. That's why I'm getting a little bit worried that Disney is really going to bone up Tron ARES, because that is my favorite audio mix that I've heard this year. And I really, really hope they don't screw it up. Yeah. Spare change is back. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I don't mean to go off on rants, but there's been all this divisiveness in this Superman mix and this F1 mix. It's like, come on, guys. Dude, I've been doing this for almost a decade of reviewing movies. I know how to calibrate my system. Most of you peons out there, you guys get a subwoofer and you crank that shit to like 90, or you crank it up to like 11 and you think that's normal. I know how to calibrate a system. You fools out there don't know how to calibrate your systems. Most of you guys that are just like, Oh, there's so much bass in this stuff. Drives me nuts, man. I read your comments. Don't think I don't read your comments. Just because I don't respond back, I don't want to get into these battles about right and wrong. Every once in a while, I'll comment back, and you know what happens? Every time I engage with somebody that calls me out on something, it always if you watched if you saw my community post from 2 days ago where somebody left me a racist comment, every time I go into a back and forth because somebody thinks I'm doing something wrong, and I have to prove to myself that I haven't done anything wrong, those guys always get so offended that they have to drop a racist comment. That's when you know you lost the verbal battle. You lost the comment because you're trying to troll me, and you lose the back and forth, and you always have to drop a racist comment. That's how I know there's just so many brain dead people out there. Those are the guys that are like, let me complain to Shane about a 4K movie review because I don't agree with your audio score. I don't agree with your video score. I'm going to get into this with you, Shane. And then when I have to say, listen, I'm right, you're wrong, you got to throw some kind of a Chinese joke, which doesn't, listen, if you're going to try to throw out a racist joke, make it the correct race. I'm not Chinese. I'll let you guys decide what kind of race I am. Use the correct slur, Asian slur. Not every Asian person in the world is Chinese. That's how stupid some of you guys are out there. For you racist guys are out there, okay? So let's not, if we can have a disagreement, and that's fine. You might think you're right. I might know I'm right. But you guys don't have to resort to racial slurs, okay? It's just a bad look, especially in a public forum. It's a bad look. Okay, here we go. You guys put me off. You guys put me on these little, I haven't been on a little rant in a while. You guys put me on a rant here. Can't wait for ARES at home. Yeah, ARES is going to be pretty good at home. That scene with the rotating sub is insane on my system. Oh, which rotating sub are you talking about? Oh, The Conjuring Last Rites has some decent bass. That's actually, I was going to watch that. I was going to watch that tonight after Tron, or after Peacemaker season 2, but I figured I'd watch it tomorrow. Come on here and do a deal here. Please do a video on sub calibration, haha. Now, if you guys have ever watched any of my subwoofer reviews, you can see what my bass response looks like in my room. So I know how to do a subwoofer calibration. And I'll calibrate for flat for those reviews, just so you can see that whatever subwoofer I'm reviewing can get a pretty good flat response and see what kind of extension there is. Usually with the bigger subs, obviously you can tilt it upwards if you want to give it a good curve. Nice little 5-6 dB boost if you want to. But I like to keep my calibrations usually at the same. Every time I have a different sub come in, I usually do calibrate to flat. I might give it a 5-6 dB boost if something is really weak, but I usually calibrate to flat. That keeps my video reviews consistent throughout. So that way I'm not kind of like cheating. I'm not cheating the audio mix. Have you watched Infinity Castle? Thoughts on the sound mix? I've not watched Infinity Castle. I don't even know what you're talking about, Woggy. I'm not sure why people think you'd lie about something not being up to standard. It'd be worse if you were constantly excusing the bare minimum. Listen, I think I'm a little generous on my reviews. Sometimes I will go back and maybe I'll catch I'll rewatch something that I think is lackluster, and I'll be like, oh, this might be a little bit worse than lackluster. Maybe I gave it too good of a score. So, I don't know. I think I'm a little too generous sometimes, to be honest with you. Best TV manufacturers are Asian, by the way. Good luck with your Vizio or Westinghouse sets. I'm not sure what are those American made? Mission Impossible. Oh, Oh, there we go. Now I can read better. Mission Impossible rolling sub going off the cliff. Yeah. Yeah, that was I think that's when Tom is hanging off the edge, right? So there is that part where the sub is going down and Tom is caught. I think his breathing apparatus or something like that. His bag is like caught on the submarine. As that sub is going down, there's like two really low infrasonic bass drops. It's just like boom. It doesn't really go like boom, but you could feel the vibration in your room just pulse. So I mean, if your subs can produce that infrasonic pulse, there's two of them when that sub goes down. Which is better for date night is the question. My girl might notice the difference. Oh, not sure what you're talking about there, Giano. Which is better for date night is the question. My girl might notice the difference. I like to wait on your review of a movie to hear about the video/audio. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, Wendell. Not saying that I'm the de facto standard. There's plenty of other guys that do reviews as well. I would say go watch a couple of reviews, Go watch a couple of reviews. Not saying that I have seen some reviews that mirror mine very, very, very closely just by the little details I like to throw in there, which I know some of these guys are not going to pick up on. So sometimes I'll watch their stuff and be like, did you get that from me? OMG, please tell me we have moved on from Superman. I've been done with Superman, but I'll get the comments. I still get some recent comments on things, so figured I should probably address that. My bad on the BS question. Big fan of your reviews. Oh, not sure what your question was, dude. What was the question? What was the question? Chabrubin, date night. Ugh. Usually my date nights are on Sunday because that's when the wife is off, typically on Sundays, so that's the only time we get to watch movies. It's usually we go out to the cinema, to like the actual cinema instead of my house. But every once in a while, there will be a movie that she hasn't seen that I happen to have that might still be at the theaters. And then we'll watch it here. But yeah, she missed, we didn't see F1 together because I believe she was working at that time. So we saw it at the house. I think Giano was asking if he should take his girl to see ARES in Dolby or Imax. I would go IMAX for the overall experience, but only if your IMAX has recliners, which I forgot to mention. The new IMAX they remodeled does not have recliners. I walked in there yesterday. And they got the nice cushy plush seats, but they didn't have recliners. I mean, it was just like I might as well just be sitting in my office chair. My office chair reclines back. This is about as far as my office chair reclines back. This is as far as these new IMAX seats recline back. They definitely have more cushion, more plushness to them, but there's like they don't recline, and the leg space is like 3 feet of leg space. 3 feet, yeah, you get about 3 feet of leg space. I mean, if you're like 6 foot, you're going to be uncomfortable. I don't know why they did that. So I mean, if your IMAX has seats like that, you have to go to Dolby. If your IMAX has recliners, then go to IMAX. Whoever has recliners, go to the recliner one. If they both have recliners, then go to IMAX. Sealed or ported for HT? Well, that's kind of a tough question. Like, I guess it depends on how big your subwoofers are. If you have some big subs, big capable subs, 15s, 18s, and they're tuned really well where they can go down really low, I would go for sealed. I mean, all my subwoofers are sealed, but they're fairly big subs. Or, I mean, they're not giant subs, but they're pretty big though. I have the 21-inch I have it's a giant subwoofer. It weighs something like 410 pounds. If you watch the review for that, I get down to like single digits on that. Just across the board, single digits all the way down to like 5 hertz or something like that. And if you have a big room and you like ported subs are definitely going to play louder. They'll give you some SPL, but they'll kind of like drop off lower depending on how they're tuned. But typically on a sealed sub, you get a much smoother roll off. They're going to eat up some more power. You'll get some, I think, better extension, especially with that slower roll off. Just as long as it's big enough and you can fill your space with it. For me, I think a sealed sub plays better 100%. But ported sub will definitely fill. It's going to play louder for sure. If all things being equal, same size, same driver, and stuff like that. So I would go for sealed sub, and I've got, what do we got? 8. I've got 8 sealed subs. Yeah, 8 sealed subs. Will you do Imax plus Dolby for Wicked for Good? Oh, Wicked for Good. Yeah, I'll probably do Dolby for that, because I can't. As much as unless it's a really giant movie, maybe like Avatar 3, I'll sit through all the way through for IMAX. Like, it's got to be really something I'm truly interested in. I mean, I really did like Wicked 1. I didn't think I was going to, but I am looking forward to seeing Wicked for Good. But I got to go with Dolby for that, just because the recliners. I can't sit in those IMAX seats if they don't recline. You're awesome, Shane. You're awesome, Shane. Have watched you for years and don't let the haters get the good part of you. Listen, I don't let the haters get the good part of me. Every once in a while, I will, usually I just let people just comment. They can comment whatever they want to. Every once in a while, I'll get the one that tries to like call me out on something, and usually I don't care. But sometimes I might just be bored that day. I'm just like, oh, well, let's see what we can get into. And then I'll answer back, and then it'll turn into this whole thing. And then the guy that starts it will usually get offended. What can I say? And then I end up looking like the a-hole or something, right? I don't have a Dolby Cinema near me. My options for ARES are Regal, RPX, or IMAX. My IMAX doesn't have recliners either. Man, it's a shame. I think those Regal RPXs do, right? I would still go for the recliner version. 0.46 or 0.4 for Atmos. I mean, I guess that's going to depend on the size of your space. If you have a long room, if you got multi-rows, I would go for 6. And also, if your processor or receiver, if you can do different presets for 4 or 6. So some movies are going to have active 6 channels. Some are going to have active 4 channels. If your processor, if you go with 6, some movies only have 2 top channels. So therefore, if you have a preset in your receiver or processor, you're going to have to set up a preset for only 4 channels, and you just eliminate the 2. Or if you're lucky enough and you can mirror all the channels up top, then you can do that and activate all 6 channels. So it really depends on like the kind of space you have, and then the type of processors you have. So, but for me, 6. I mean, I can enjoy either way, so it doesn't matter. If you have like a Storm or a Trinov, then if you can fit 6, go for 6. But if your processor can't process, or you can't set up the correct amount of outputs for your setup, then you're kind of stuck. Speaking of ARES and IMAX, was this reverse IMAX shot I keep hearing about? Is there a scene where the black bars slowly go from 190 to 239? There is a scene where I don't believe I saw anything slowly open up. I just remember one shot. I think it was this shot from whatever the shot was. It goes from the real world and it just skips over to the grid and it just opened. I don't think I noticed it slowly opening up. Then again, I was so enamored by the audio mix. I really wasn't paying attention that much. I'll try to look for it on Sunday though. Shane doesn't deal with front wides, and so many don't Shane doesn't deal with front wides, and so many don't just add them. Man, 946 is a must for any reviewer, especially with a Trinov. What do you mean I don't deal with front wides? I have front wides. Am I reading that right? Shane doesn't deal with front wides, and so many don't. Just add them, man. Okay, no, I have front wides. You know I have front wides, right? Did you see my Chibruben? Did you see my home theater update video? Front wides. Headphones to replace home theater speakers. I have bad neighbors. Any ideas? You know what's good? You know what's really cool sounding is I actually really like the spatial audio on the AirPods, because my wife, I don't use an iPod or an iPhone, but I typically don't like headphones or earbuds, but I did try my wife's AirPod 3s. I think they're the 3s or 2s or something. I connected them up to the Apple TV, and they got that Apple spatial audio thing where it's like it almost sounds like Dolby Atmos. Like, it legit sounds really good. If you're facing the TV, the sounds are just like, pss, pss, pss. And like if you move your head, the sound it's still there. Like, the sound stays stationary to wherever your TV is. So you can watch TV and you can turn around and the TV will sound like it's behind your head. Like, it's super cool sounding. I wanted to do a video on it, but I guess people have already covered it before. But if you have an Apple TV and you want to watch movies on your Apple TV, I would say get some AirPods or maybe those Air headphones, Air cans, or whatever they're called. Because that's maybe like the coolest thing that I've heard in headphones, maybe ever, is the AirPods on an Apple TV. Shane, thoughts on VR headset for movie watching? I wouldn't be able to sit there for 2 hours and watch a movie with a VR headset. That's just me. I know a lot of people like to do it, but I don't recommend it. It's not something I would like to do. Are there post-credit scenes in Tron ARES? Yeah, there's one mid-credit scene. There's no post-credit, so it only lasts for like a couple minutes. I think it's like how many minutes? Maybe like 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes it lasts for. So yeah, so it's like right after the credits, stick around for like a minute, and then the mid-credit scene pops up. Return of the Living Spare Change. I'm just tuning in. Would you mind reiterating briefly your thoughts on Tron's theater experience, as well as whether the movie itself was any good? Excellent theater experience, and the movie was okay. As brief as possible. I mean, you can always scroll back. Any upmixer versus a Atmos movie with no top layer effects? Any upmixer versus Atmos movie with no top layer effects? I'm guessing you mean like Dolby Atmos without aggressive top channels. Well, I mean, I don't know how it works with anything other than the Trinov, but if I'm going to upmix Dolby Atmos, I have to output the movie in 5.1 or 7.1 in order for the Dolby Surround upmixer or the Neural X upmixer to work. So that would take an extra step, which I'm not willing to do just to get some more sound up top. But I'm thinking that's what you're asking. But you never know what's you know, even for those movies that don't have a lot of top channel activity, every once in a while something will go up there that might be meaningful. So, and you know, the upmixers don't always extract that to sound properly, because a lot of the times it's just like they'll take little effects from the surround channels and then they'll put them up top. Like if something pans from back to front, it'll try to extract that movement to place it hopefully in the correct speaker position. So sometimes it doesn't always work correctly. Good point, Shane. You and Matthew Pose need to tell us what we do with shared walls in a townhouse. Oh man, you better move. Do we need the vinyl, the 2x drywall, the isolation to help neighbors on the other side not complain? Dude, you're gonna have to like build a room within a room, because I think wherever you go, especially if there's like a basement, that sound's gonna travel through the floor over to the other side. It's gonna vibrate your ceiling, which I know is connected to your neighbor. It's gonna travel that way too. I mean, if you're like in the bedroom, it'll sure like mitigate some sound if you double drywall that up. But then you're gonna have to like double drywall your ceiling. You're gonna have to float your floor. You're gonna have to do all that stuff. So I don't think just doing the separator wall or the conjoined wall is gonna matter by putting mass vinyl on that. You're gonna have to do the whole thing, man. You got to put a room in a room. And don't put up that cheap foam, because that stuff doesn't do anything. Got my spare change lined up to move from some old PSA ported 15 to SB 5000s. Uh-oh, you going for the upgrade. Oh, hold on. Why can't I hear that? What's up with that? Did you guys hear my air horn? Give me a second here. Why am I not hearing that? Output. Oh, duh. Here we go. There we go. I'm surprised my audio was working all this time. I'm curious. I have a receiver that's Atmos compatible, but only use a 7.2 speaker setup. Will there be any advantages using Atmos over basic DTS Master or True HD? 7.2. Well, if it's only 7.2, are you meaning 7 bed layer and 2 subwoofers speaker setup? And will there be an advantage of using DTS Master or True HD? I mean, I don't know how many movies you're watching that offer both DTS Master or True HD. I'm going to guess probably none that I'm aware of, unless you're using a test disc. But if you're just watching movies, you can only use one or the other. Hi Shane, can you get an external device decoder to play DTS-X on my Sonos system? No. That'd be a no. What IMAX laser version did he have? Laser XT, commercial laser, or grand theater? Not watching live, so need to answer from the chat. I'm not sure what it was. I thought it was a dual laser. Apparently it probably wasn't. 2 subwoofers. Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter, because I don't think you're going to have a choice to listen to DTS Master or True HD from the same movie, because typically they have one or the other. So I don't think you're going to really have a choice to choose what you're going to listen to. But you know what I watched yesterday was the movie Him. Did any of you guys watch Him, starring Marlon Wayans and the guy who sounds eerily like Channing Tatum? Anyways, I watched that yesterday because I know it was produced by Jordan Peele. I was thinking maybe it was going to be in the same vein as like Us or Get Out, maybe Nope. But that might be one of the, I don't know, maybe one of the most disappointing movies I've seen this year. Wasn't a big fan of it. I did think the audio was all right on it. Like the top channels were pretty active, so were the surrounds, but the movie itself was not good. Definitely, I think they just used Jordan Peele's name on the poster just to get people in because they knew the movie absolutely sucked. But the movie absolutely sucked. Don't watch him unless it's free streaming on HBO Max or something. Hard skip. Don't pick it up on digital. Don't pick it up anywhere. Don't even buy it on disc. The movie was bad. him was him was horrible. I did like the little kid at the beginning of the movie. Like when his dad got the kid amped up, I was like, oh shoot. I was like, this is gonna be good. We're gonna go through some like Any Given Sunday type of thing, and they're gonna. For some reason, I thought the movie was about vampires. I was waiting for vampires the entire time. I was like, there's no vampires in this movie whatsoever. I was like, what's going on? This movie just sucks. I was like, it was trying to be like intelligent horror, but it just really fell flat. Travis in the house. What's up? Lots of Cloud Escape titles have Atmos and DTS HDMA. Well, yeah, but I think he had referred to True HD and DTS. I'm not sure if he has a Cloud Escape. It was damaged and evil. I was dumber after watching it. It was demented and evil. I was dumber. Was it demented? I was just trying to think. It was such a forgettable movie. What's up with Julia Fox? Why is Julia Fox still getting cast in movies? Ever since Uncut Gems, where she was like peak attractiveness, she's been on this Ozempic trip. A lot of these actresses has been on the Ozempic train. They've been looking like skeletons. Have you seen Ariana Grande and the Cynthia Erivo? They look like walking skeletons. So does Julia Fox. She looked disgusting. Her eyebrows. I mean, I'm glad they dropped the joke about the eyebrows in it, but yeah, no. Yeah. Just a dumb movie. Dumb movie. Bobby Digital with the super chat. Shane, my new theater. I'm going to Rose. Is it worth it to go 4 or 6 Atmos channels? Because it seems most movies only use 2 channels if you have 6. Bobby Digital. I mean, I felt like I just answered the question 4 minutes ago. I would. Let's try to keep it simple. If you can fit 6, you got 2 rows, 2 in the back, 2 in the middle between both rows, 2 up front. If your processor can have different presets for 4 or 6, I would get 6 and do a preset for those movies that only, if the movie only has 2, do preset where it only uses 4. If the movie has 6, activate all 6 channels. So I mean, just as long as you can have a different preset for 4 or 6, then you're good to go. You're good to go. And if you have a Storm Audio processor or if you have a Trinov processor, you can array channels so that all 6 channels or all 4 channels are active all the time. There's always that. And thank you for the super chat, Bobby Digital. Explain why it's already available to stream. Yeah, man, that movie came out like 2 weeks ago. I was looking for it. I was excited to see it. So I was like, oh shoot. I said, him is out already. It was like, when did I watch it? 2 nights ago. I said, movie night, man. I got my Sour Patch Kids. And then I got my lemonade. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. The movie started off with the little kid and the dad. The little kid was like, I am him. I am him. I was like, oh, this movie is going to be good. And it just went downhill from there. I should have just kept the kid in the movie the whole time. Jenny Ortega is skeletal looking now too. How so? She's already skeletal looking. No body shaming, but she was already kind of skinny looking. You tell me she's even more skinny looking? Mal Capo. Shane just picked up the Sony Bravia XR90 85-inch. Black levels are amazing. Nice, man. I'm pretty sure you got a good deal on that. I think they were going on. They had some pretty good discounts when I was reviewing the the Bravia 5. I believe they were going on pretty good discounts. So congrats on that, man. Listen, I'll give you you get the air horn too for getting a new TV. That's for Malpaco. What else? Anything else? What's the best? What's the best cinema for sound? The best cinema for sound is your cinema, unless you're talking about. Apparently, some IMAXs have Dolby Atmos. I have not seen an IMAX with Dolby Atmos, but I'm told this is true. If your IMAX has Dolby Atmos, leave a comment where it is. But I've been told this a couple times. I tried to Google it, and I've never seen an IMAX with Dolby Atmos. Maybe DTS, but never Dolby Atmos. We'll be adding a D215S per listen THX Dominus certified sub to my setup, thanks to you and Audioholics. Really, thanks to me and Audioholics. Listen, you could just say me. You don't have to give Audioholics a shout out. I'll take all the credit for that, okay, Arthur? But congrats on that. What are your speakers? What kind of speakers are you going to pair them up with? Are you going to pair them up with some per listens? And they did release recently the per listen A series, which I believe are now available at a pretty good value. Mind you, I know they're still a little pricey, but definitely not as expensive as the R and the S series. So, I mean, if you don't have any speakers, then I would say check out those A series. I should be getting some for review at some point in time. I don't know when, but supposedly they're supposed to send me some. I heard people can get serious illness when using Ozempic. Man, I don't doubt it. I mean, if you got a pill that, I don't know how it works. I'm guessing it probably just like makes you not hungry and you probably don't eat and you get skinny. I mean, I haven't done like a deep dive into it. I just know that people take it and they lose a lot of weight. It's weird because, we're just looking at pictures of, we're just looking at pictures earlier today of some people that were on it. Not a good look, man. Do you follow the annual Value Electronics or the Vincent Teo TV shootouts? I don't follow them. I used to cover the Value Electronics TV shootout every year. Remember, before me, that shootout wasn't even popular. It wasn't even streaming on YouTube. When I took it over, in 2016, started blowing up from there. And then it got to the point where it's just like I'd be there for Saturday and Sunday all day streaming. I was there for like 12, 16 hours sometimes, just streaming the entire show. And honestly, it's when you see TVs every year by year, it's always been like they're always so minimal in improvement. It's never like a quantum leap in quality every year. The only really big leap recently has been getting 100-inch TVs for like $2,000. That, in my book, has been the most exciting thing in the TV world. Because typically, I don't like covering TVs. I mean, I actually have a Hisense. I have a really budget Hisense sitting right here in my tabletop, which I got to review. It's a 65 like U6. I wanted to review it because it's cheap And I think it'd be popular for people wanting to get a new TV that's not expensive. And then the Sony Bravia 8 Mark II, I did the review on that one. Unfortunately, I did it towards the end of the year. Like, nobody watched that video because it's a year old now. So, but yeah, I usually don't like to do TVs because I find TVs incredibly boring. The good thing about like audio, or at least with like speakers, is, speakers, they have a refresh cycle of every few years, 3 years, sometimes maybe 6 years, maybe 10 years if it's a really good speaker. So it's not always it's not always every year speakers get a brand new refresh. So that's why I like doing speakers. Home theater stuff too. Subwoofers. What do you think about steelbooks? Oh, steelbooks are fine, man. Listen, if you're a collector, more power to you. I'm not a collector, so I don't collect the stuff. I mean, there's some cool ones. What do I have? What kind of steelbook do I have? The last steelbook I picked up was, man, I don't even know. Oh, it's Kill Bill. I have Kill Bill 1 and 2 on steelbook there, sitting right over there on my little end table. But yeah, they're cool. They're expensive. Like they've been getting more expensive recently. Sometimes I'll drop some pre-order links for steelbooks, and them things are $50, $60, sometimes more. They've gotten really expensive. Sadly, the more people don't buy physical media, the more physical media costs. Especially when those guys snap them up and they sell them on eBay for like twice the price. I made the mistake of buying a Samsung 85-inch TV 2 years ago, which doesn't have Dolby Vision. HDR10 is simply not good enough. I mean, well, you can look at the positive side. Amazon Prime is HDR10. I believe Apple TV streaming is HDR10 as well. Oh, sorry, HDR10 plus. Amazon Prime is HDR10 plus, and so are the movies on, Apple. Correct me if I'm wrong. I guess the smart thing would be to like TCL or Hisense it, because I think those two are the only ones that support both HDR10 plus and Dolby Vision. Damn, did not know that about you, Shane. I agree. Very incremental upgrades year over year. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's I still have the X95K. I have a Sony 85-inch X95K in the guest room, and the TV's so big. It's an 85-inch, and it's like the guest room is so small, but the TV's so big it takes up almost the entire wall. And it's like you sit in the bed, and it's like sitting in the front row of a movie theater. It looks ridiculous in there, but I didn't have any place to put it. Anyways, that TV's still so good looking. It looks just as good as the 100 or the 98-inch Bravia 5 that I have. And that's 2 generations away from the Bravia 5, because I've had the 95K, the 95L, and then now I have this one. And the entry-level Bravia 5 looks just as good as like the high-level 95K and L from 1-2 years ago. So, I mean, it's like so small. I mean, if you want to really nitpick and be like, black levels, the letterbox bars, or it might be a little less blooming here and there on subtitles and stuff. Sure, but it's really nitpicking. And really, even like the best mini LED sets, or whatever, they're going to have a little bit of blooming. And then the OLEDs, obviously OLEDs don't have any blooming, but even an OLED now to an OLED like from last year or 2 years ago, they look just as good. What's up, Anthony? Go ahead. I know, Anthony. I know you're going to ask me. Go ahead. You're going to ask me, Anthony. Actually, don't ask me in the stream. Is it worth it to spend on an expensive setup? The movies they master these days are disappointing. Only some games have proper HDR implementation. expensive setup, as in home theater setup or TV? Are you talking about TV? The listen, not every movie sucks. Okay, there are some good movies out there. I think I think the stuff that I review on the channel is usually just the bigger stuff that you probably would think would sound and look awesome, that typically are kind of lackluster. And then there's like some smaller stuff that do sound really good. Like there's some movies that nobody watches. Some stuff that I've reviewed in the past that knock out audio and video that nobody cares about. Sometimes I get like 2,000-3,000 views on a movie that it's like I'll give like 10 out of 10. Nobody watches that video because I don't, for whatever reason, it's like nobody cares for the movie. So I mean, for that kind of stuff, for the oft mentioned titles out there, having a really good system makes it worthwhile. And of course, you got to have good speakers, you got to have good processing. Good speakers, good processing, and how you configure it can make lackluster mixes sound good. And, even though I might review something and say it sounds bad, you can, of course, turn up your surround channels. You can, of course, bump up your subwoofers an extra 25 dB. You could do whatever you want to do to juice up your own experience. So unless you want the most accurate presentation, it might not be the best sounding. But again, you can always tailor the sound. Make a preset, bump up your surrounds by like 10 dB, bump up your Atmos speakers a little bit louder, bump up your subs a little bit more, make a preset for RO 3D or something like that, or DTSX upmixing, squeeze out a little bit more. I mean, sometimes I'll do that. I have different presets for mixes that suck, that I want to sound louder, or I want it to sound better. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the best system, but you just have to, calibrate it to make it to your taste. Season to taste. TikTok. I believe the new current F1 4K will be released in the future in IMAX format with an improved Atmos track. They did it with Gravity. The studios can't resist the good old reliable cash grab. Did we get a new version of Gravity that I'm unaware of? As far as I know, Gravity's always sounded awesome. I didn't think they made it any better. And the recent 4K for Nightmare on Elm Street 2 had some very eye-popping HDR with its colors and eye-squinting flames. They can still make impressive HDR grades in 2025. I haven't seen any of I'm not a big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, so I did not bother to review any of them or to get any of them for review. Sorry. I guess I missed all the Tron talk, but I kind of want to go in blind. I expect it to be terrible, but can't help but hope. Yeah, man, you can just scroll back. I've only been on here for I've been on here for like an hour and a half. Shoot, I've been on here for a while. I like the movie. I like a lot of dumb movies too, so I'm not saying the movie's dumb, but I thought it was good. I thought it was equally as good as the last one. Not that the last one was like fantastic, but I liked it better. I liked it, whereas most people I don't think like Tron Legacy. I think didn't all of them get like 50% on like Rotten Tomatoes or something? So, in keeping with tradition, Tron ARES I think is equally as got rated equally as Legacy did. I thoroughly enjoyed it though. But let's hang out for a couple more minutes, then I gotta bounce out of here. I gotta finish up this projector review. I got this new projector in. Where is it? I got this new projector in, which I think the video was supposed to come out today, but I was supposed to add some more footage. They got this new Anchor projector. I forgot what it's called, but check this. It's got this thing, where it's portable and it's got, the The projector you can swivel out and it's portable. You can aim it at the ceiling. You can aim it at the floor. You can close it up. It comes with this little carry handle. On the, where is it? On the top here, these are removable speakers. So what you do is you press there's a little button here in the back, and this pops off the top, and these are now Bluetooth. Well, are they Bluetooth? I don't know if they're Bluetooth, but they're wireless speakers that connect to the projector. So you project your image, and you got left and right speakers, and then you get a nice big faux surround sound, well, stereo imaging, and then you magnetically clip these together. They lock back onto the projector's top, and then you can carry it around. It's portable. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's only 1080p, but I think it's only like a couple $100. Nothing really too expensive, but it's a neat idea. I think it's only like $200-300 or something. I think maybe $600. I don't think it's that much money though, but it's a cool idea though. Lefariki Movie Freak, do you think that picture in F1 was really dim as Hateroid Cowboy said in his review? I think that picture at my room was really good. Oh, was it dim? No, oh no, it's definitely it's definitely dim. It's not I'm trying to think. Because I watched it just Sunday. I mean, it's not like it's not Free Guy dim, but I think it's a little bit brighter than Free Guy. And Free Guy, I think, is pretty bland looking. It's really flat looking. I think, is it really dim or is it flat? I think it's more flat. Like F1 looks to me, it looks like it's overcast the entire time. So, yeah, it's flat. It's just really kind of just bland looking. It's kind of like Wicked. Wicked is a little bit flat looking too, you know. I like Legacy, so there is hope. Listen, if you like Legacy, I'm sure you'll probably like ARES. I still have the original USA M&K 750 speakers designed by Ken Krizzle. Would love to own him K700 Pro if they were available. Per listens are an option. I think you can only buy those Ken Krizzle speakers in China, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't know if he sells those in the US. I think once they stole his designs for his old speakers, didn't he like leave town and move to China or something like that? I know they're really big over there. They're cool speakers. I give him that. I know he's got those stackable dual opposed 12s. Those are pretty cool too. I haven't seen anybody review them. I don't know if he's even interested in sending those things out for review, but I've yet to see any coverage on his speakers. I just backed the Nebula X1 on Kickstarter today. Ah, cool, man. The which one? The Nebula X1 Pro? The outdoor one? Are you talking about that one? Yeah, man, that's definitely a cool projector. If you have, if you got a big backyard and stuff, and you get that screen, really cool projector. Dude, that Anchor Soundcore you sent me years ago for free. My family used the hell out of it. That thing, still outdoor music. Soundcore. Did I send you a Soundcore? What did I send you? A Bluetooth speaker? Dude, I don't even remember anymore. I'm probably gonna give this thing away too for free, because I don't know if anybody's gonna buy this. So be on the lookout, Patreon guys. There might be a giveaway for this little projector coming up. The other day, I watched 2012's 4K disc. I found that when I was watching it, that the HDR was really dark, considering to the normal Blu-ray disc of 2012. Oh, I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I don't remember that movie being dim. I thought I had some pretty good HDR, if I remember correctly. What's 2012? Is that with Jake Gyllenhaal? 2012? Where he's on top of the mall and he breaks through the top? I thought that was pretty good HDR. Oh, Sam, where's Sam Poston? Sam Poston, you are a channel member. I'm just noticing you have the little crown next to your head. Is that right? Yeah. Waggy? Okay. But okay, so be on the lookout before I log off here. I have got hopefully the review for this coming up shortly, and then I was working on something else. I think possibly this Hisense U6 TV. Does anybody have a Hisense U6 TV? I was kind of surprised that the Hisense U6 has Fire TV built into it, not Google TV. So when I powered it on, I saw Fire TV pop up on the screen. I thought Hisense was totally locked into Google, but apparently not. So be on the lookout for that. Do you only use Kaleidoscape to review the 4K movies or discs as well? What you mean, man? Have you watched the last 4 or 5 videos? Have all been disc. Come on, man. Oh, John Cusack, 2012. Oh, is that where he has the limo? He drives the limo off the crevasse. Okay, I don't remember watching that. I don't remember seeing that in a long time. But yeah, stay tuned for the Hisense U6 review that's coming up. Oh, and I got those Crick speakers coming in. I don't know if I'm going to be the first in the US to have them, but I got me some Crickses. Let me see if I can share the Crickses. Phonics 45. Ooh. You know, I put up that little post earlier. Just to see if anybody had known that I was getting some Crickses, because I tagged Build Montage. But I'm getting a pair of these in something else. I forgot what the other model was, but so these are coming in. These are boop. What are these called? These are called the Hyperphonics 45 on wall. So the Hyperphonics 45 is a high-powered, high-sensitivity surround overhead speaker. Oh, I didn't know you could put that overhead as well. Featuring a 45-degree baffle to deliver sound directly to your seat. Oh, I did not know you could put that out. Oh, check that out. That even has the ceiling/wall mount bracket. Okay. Yeah, I guess 45-degree. So yeah, you can mount this sideways on your ceiling, and you should get some equal coverage, whether horizontal or vertical placement. Australian made since 1974. Frequency range is 60 Hz to 20 kHz in room. Power handling, 92 dB sensitivity. I don't know if that's Australian or British, but it's one of them. It's got a single 6.5-inch paper cone driver, 2-inch voice coil. High frequency driver is 1-inch fabric dome tweeter, ferrofluid cooled, coupled to a Crix designed 90 by 90 short throw waveguide. Wait, it's got a 90 by 90 waveguide and a 45-degree baffle. Oh, the baffle's 45 degree. Okay. So 90 by 90. So yeah, so good coverage. Good coverage either way you set it up. And I believe I also have coming in ceiling, in wall, linear. Man, I don't know how these work. No, it's definitely not. I think maybe it's dedicated, modular, on wall. Here we go. And okay, and I got these ones coming in. These are the OWX50s. The OWX50 on-wall speaker offers performance and power in a compact design. So I've got 3 of these and then 2 of the other ones. Looks like the same frequency range, 60 Hz to 20K. Little more These are very sensitive. Look at that, 97 dB sensitivity. You can drive these with a very low-powered AVR, huh? Ported design, dual 6.5-inch, same woofer, mid-range driver, and then the short throw constant directivity horn coupled to a compression driver with a 1-inch throat and 1 3/4-inch voice coil. All right. Very nice. So these two are coming in. You also get the mounting bracket as well, which also looks very nice. So be on the lookout for that. That is, those should be here on Thursday. I'll probably throw up a little unboxing for that on Thursday evening, maybe Friday afternoon. I would like to give these a quick little listen, maybe just do like a unboxing, quick impressions of how these things sound before I put them in the theater, maybe give it a little 2-channel test. So be on the lookout for that. I think, you know, I'm told that these do not sound anything like Klipsch speakers. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know, I think we see like a horn speaker and then the Klipsch type of thing. You know, they both have K in their names, so I think people might think they sound similar to Klipsch. I'm told they don't. So very interested to try that out in the house. Can't actually buy them in the US, can you? I don't know if they're, I mean, we're going to have them. They're going to be on the channel on the 24th at the end of the month. So Michael from Crix is going to come on to answer all the questions. I don't know if I personally don't know of any dealers yet, but we shall see. And then Tony from Build Montage is going to come on because he now has rented out a gigantic warehouse where I think he built something like 2 or 3 showrooms with all Crix speakers and JVC and Epson projectors. That's if you live in Australia. So his demo rooms look pretty sweet, very similar to my room. Matter of fact, when I saw his video, I was like, wow, that looks very much like mine. I think his room is I think his main room is a little bit wider than mine. Mine is 14 wide. I think his is 17 wide. So yeah, so they're going to be on the 24th of October, 5 p.m. Eastern time, which I think is something like 11 a.m. their time. And then we'll find out who is carrying Crix in the US. But yeah, I'm excited to try these out because, you know, for most of us that are in the US, we've all seen Tony's videos. That's all he covers is Crix. So they must be pretty good, I'm assuming. I mean, it can't be bad. Like, why would he invest in a whole business built around Crix if they sounded bad? So I'm guessing they probably sound pretty darn good. Anyways, we are coming in at 2 hours. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. Leave some comments down below. I haven't figured out if I'm going to edit out my rant or not. We'll see. But if I do, you can always subscribe to the other channel, Dynamically Challenged, and watch this entire stream in its entirety. That's on Dynamically Challenged, which is my second channel, where all of my live streams live in their unedited form. Of course, you can always stop by my Patreon channel as well if you want to chit-chat with me, be in the running to possibly get yourself a free Anchor Soundcore portable projector with detachable speakers. That is on patreon.com/Shane Lee. That is patreon.com/Shane Lee. If you want to join me on Patreon, we have a great group of people there, including Anthony, also part of my Patreon crew as well, who's waiting to pick up something from me also. Kind of weird they don't give peak power handling numbers. I don't know. I guess we could ask them. But that's patreon.com/Shane Lee on my Patreon. You can join for as little as $1 a month. That's $1 a month. If you guys have a part-time job or a full-time job, You guys can afford $1 a month. That's $12 a year. That's 2 Starbucks a year. Maybe 1 Starbucks in certain states, but you guys can support the channel for as little as $1 a month. I always have great deals on audio and video gear that sometimes I review and I sell on the Patreon as well. You can save up to 50% or more. 5 minutes will save you 50% or more. That's as little as $1 a month. Or if you really like me, you can join for $10 a month. Anthony has made out like a bandit on Patreon, to say the least. But thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Mel Pacapo, for joining me as well. I'll catch you in the next one. Patreon.com/Shane Lee. Also, subscribe to Dynamically Challenged, my second channel.